Have you ever sat in silence and felt your mind turn into a storm? One thought colliding with another, dragging you from one worry to the next, as if you were trapped inside a cage built by your own imagination. You try to focus, to breathe, but your brain doesn't stop. Whispers fears, regrets, and endless what-ifs. You tell yourself to stop thinking, but that only makes the noise louder. Arjun knew this feeling too well. Every night, he lay on his bed staring at the ceiling, lost in a loop of thoughts he didn't want. He would replay old conversations, imagine failures that hadn't even happened yet, and question his worth. Why did I say that? What if I fail tomorrow? Why can't I just stop thinking? His mind was his biggest enemy. By day, he was an ordinary office worker, calm on the outside, chaotic within. But inside his head lived a battlefield of voices, one telling him he wasn't good enough, another reminding him of past mistakes, and another whispering about all the possible disasters waiting in the future. He tried everything: music, distractions, scrolling social media, but nothing worked. The thoughts always came back, louder, sharper, crueler, until one night something changed. That night, after another exhausting day, he took a late walk through his neighborhood. The world was silent, no cars, no noise, just the sound of his footsteps echoing in the empty street. The air was cool. The moonlight bathed the trees in silver. For the first time in a long while, he felt a kind of peace. And then, from across the road, he saw an old man sitting under a tree. The man looked calm, too calm, as if the chaos of the world had never touched him. Arjun hesitated, then walked closer. The old man smiled and said, "You look like someone fighting a war that no one else can see." Arjun was startled. "How did you know?" The man laughed softly. "Because I fought that same war once." "Sit down." Arjun sat beside him. They said nothing for a few minutes, only listened to the rustling leaves. Then the man spoke again. "You want to control your thoughts, don't you?" Arjun nodded. "Yes, but I can't. The more I try, the worse it gets. My mind just doesn't stop." The man looked at the sky. "Tell me something. When you sit by a river and see the water flowing, do you try to stop it?" "No," Arjun replied. "Then why do you try to stop your thoughts?" The old man asked gently. Arjun frowned, confused. "Because they're negative. They make me anxious," the old man smiled. "That's because you've been trying to fight your thoughts instead of watching them." He picked up a small stone and tossed it into the air. "Your mind is like the sky," he said. "Thoughts are like clouds. Some are white and light. Some are dark and heavy. But no matter what kind of cloud passes through, the sky never loses its calm. The problem is you've started thinking you are the clouds, but you are the sky." Arjun looked at him uncertain. "So what should I do?" "Do this," said the man. "Tomorrow morning, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Just watch them. Watch how one comes, stays, and fades. Don't call them good or bad. Just observe. Do it every day. You'll start to notice something. Your thoughts don't control you. You've just been feeding them energy by reacting to them." Arjun listened carefully. It sounded simple, too simple to work, but something about the man's calm presence made him believe. That night, Arjun went home and tried it. He sat on his bed, closed his eyes, and breathed. Within seconds, his mind began its usual storm. "You're wasting time. You'll fail tomorrow. This doesn't work." His first instinct was to fight back, to silence them. But then he remembered the old man's words. "Don't fight, watch." So he watched. He let the thoughts come and go, like cars passing on a road. Slowly, something magical happened. The thoughts kept moving, but their grip weakened. For the first time, he realized his thoughts were not him. They were visitors. He was the observer. The next morning felt different. The world hadn't changed, but he had. When anxious thoughts appeared, he didn't panic. He simply said in his mind, "There you are again," and went back to what he was doing. The thoughts still came, but they no longer dictated his emotions. Days turned into weeks, and Arjun practiced the trick daily. He became calmer, more focused, more aware. He noticed how often people around him were also prisoners of their own minds, lost in overthinking, complaining, worrying about futures that hadn't even happened. He realized he had lived most of his life not in the present, but in imaginary worlds created by fear. One morning, he met the old man again by the same tree. You look different, the man said with a smile. Arjun nodded. I feel different. It's like my thoughts are still there, but they don't control me anymore. The old man nodded. That's because you stopped identifying with them. When you become the watcher of your thoughts, your mind loses its power to disturb you. The trick isn't to stop thinking. It's to stop believing every thought. Arjun smiled faintly. But sometimes the negative thoughts come back stronger. What do I do then? The old man chuckled. Then watch them even more closely. They feed on your attention. If you react with fear, they grow. If you watch them calmly, they fade. Just like shadows disappear when you turn toward the light. The words sank deep into Arjun's heart. He realized how much energy he had wasted fighting himself. Every negative thought he tried to bury had only grown stronger because it wanted to be noticed. But when he gave it quiet attention, without judgment, it dissolved naturally. That day, Arjun began sharing the trick with others. His friends, co-workers, even his younger sister, who often struggled with anxiety. He told them, your mind is powerful, but it's not your master. Watch your thoughts, don't wrestle with them. He even wrote it on a piece of paper and stuck it to his mirror. Observe. Don't absorb. As the months passed, people around him began to notice his calmness. When others panicked, he stayed centered. When work pressure rose, he handled it with quiet focus. When someone insulted him, he didn't react. He simply observed the rise of anger within and let it fade. He wasn't perfect. No one ever is. But he was no longer trapped. He had found freedom not by changing his circumstances, but by changing his relationship with his own thoughts. Years later, Arjun visited that same place again, the silent street, the old tree. The man was gone, but his words still echoed in Arjun's mind. He sat under the tree, closed his eyes, and listened to the faint sounds of the wind, to his own breathing, to the rhythm of life itself. Thoughts still came, as they always do, but now they passed like drifting clouds across an infinite blue sky. He smiled and whispered softly, I am not my thoughts, and in that moment, he understood the real secret, the trick the old man had hinted at. Controlling your mind isn't about building walls or suppressing what you feel. It's about awareness, about remembering that you are the witness, not the storm. When you stop fighting your mind, you start guiding it. When you stop believing every thought, you discover peace underneath the noise. And when you learn to watch without judgment, your mind becomes your ally, not your enemy. Try this for yourself. When a negative thought appears, don't run from it and don't fight it. Sit with it. Watch how it rises, lingers, and fades. Tell yourself, this is just a thought. See how your body relaxes when you stop resisting. Feel the space between you and the thought. That's your real self. The more you practice this, the more powerful you become, because in truth, it's not your thoughts that control you. It's your reaction to them. When you change that reaction, you change your entire life. You'll still have fear, but it won't own you. You'll still have doubts, but they won't paralyze you. You'll still have thoughts, but you'll finally understand that you are the thinker, not the thought. That's the trick, the one that changes everything, and once you learn it, truly learn it, you'll never again be a prisoner of your own mind. You'll walk through life with clarity, calmness, and quiet strength, not because your mind is empty, but because you've learned to master it. You've learned to observe, not absorb.